Welcome to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. Dental Entrepreneur Women is here to dive deep and share stories with the mission to inspire, highlight, empower, and connect all women in dentistry.
Hello, everyone. It is Anne Duffy. Welcome to the Just Do It podcast. I'm so happy you're here. And we've got a very special guest today. Just a lovely young lady that I met. She's from Canada, and she has been on our coffee chats. I met her on a coffee chat, and she shows up almost every Wednesday to bring her light and her love to all of you do's out there. So catch us there. But let me tell you a little bit about her before we get started. Julie Friesen is a dental coach, author, speaker, and Canada's go-to person for engaging and aligning dental teams, plus training peak performance. With over 20 years of extensive experience in the dental industry, Julie has empowered people at various levels through her practice of coaching, online programs, and live events. Welcome, Julie. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, Anne. Wow, thank you for that wonderful introduction. It's great to be here.
Oh my gosh, I have followed you. I met you. Actually, you came into one of our coffee chats, but I actually met you on LinkedIn. I forgot about that. You had something special about you. I was following you, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to meet you. And look at us now. We're fast friends, and here you are in our podcast. And hopefully, you'll be making it to our dew.life retreat in November. And you've introduced me to some amazing women in dentistry, and I see the collaboration that is happening even in your neck of the woods. So, Julie, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this entrepreneurial journey, because you are fired up at all times, and you are a true do extraordinaire.
Well, I think like many people listening, it was purely accidental. When I started as a certified dental assistant, I was just very curious. I asked lots of questions, and I kept taking all opportunities to continue to grow my skills. I was recognized for being a good communicator. I love people. I love patient care. And I went on to become a treatment coordinator, a team leader, a hygiene coordinator, and a scheduling coordinator. And by that time, I was teaching others to succeed in these areas too. With a strong intuition for business, I studied peak performance and mindset and achieved some real street cred for helping practice profits skyrocket. And to be honest, I didn't want anyone to know how I was doing it. And I kept my cards really close to my chest. Now, here was my game changer. When I went into practice management, I went to a practice management conference in Toronto, Canada. And on the first day, I walk into this room of 250 high achievers, and only to find that they not only brought their cards, Anne, they were sitting around the table with them face up. They were sharing their insights, their strategies, their ideas, their tools for helping teams help patients to becoming healthier. It was like a light bulb moment for me. And I decided on that weekend that I wanted to help other people in practices too, to unlock their potential. And Julie Friesen Dental Coaching and Consulting came out of that. Now I help dental leaders all across Canada set clear, engaging goals, communicate effectively, and grow their business. What people say who work with me is they feel more focused, they feel like they can communicate more confidently, and they have the tools, the determination, and the courage to go after and get their goals. And it's all the same framework that I'd been using. I'm just having a lot more fun doing it. Because sometimes we as leaders, as entrepreneurs, we're struggling so much. And the solution literally starts by getting clear first and to achieving our goals. And it's not a very complicated thing to fix. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. Well, first of all, your enthusiasm is just like, I can't stop smiling right now. And I know if you're listening, you're feeling the same way. You've got enthusiasm for this. And one of the things I know about you is that you have really studied this. You have studied entrepreneurship. You've studied positive thinking. You've got some great mentors in the field. And yes. I think with your coaching, you've learned a lot about what holds entrepreneurs back. And I think sometimes they don't even see it. And you don't know what you don't know. So like, what do you see with the people that you're coaching? What holds them back from being their greatest and most successful?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's very critical to understand that I'm a real life hands-on entrepreneur, like many people who are listening. Yes, I've had victories, but I haven't done it all right either. I've made a lot of mistakes and bad decisions, but with each mistake came an opportunity to learn and grow. And I'm here today to support others, other leaders and entrepreneurs to succeed in their own journey by sharing some of the insights, tools, and strategies that I've learned so you can get your results quicker, and that can save you the lost time, money, and opportunity that it cost me. So I hope to add some real value to those listening in our brief time together. And I believe that's exactly what the Just Do It podcast is all about, right, Anne?
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's just,
Yeah.
it's sharing your inside scoop to listeners. And what you said earlier, Julie, I love that you fact that you used to hold your cards close to the vest. And once you have that just shift in your mindset, and I know you now, and I know that you have one of the most abundant mindsets I've ever seen. That's, I think, when your whole world opens up, and abundance just begets abundance, right? I mean, that's
Absolutely.
one of the things I see about you. So tell me, how did you, who were some of the people that really inspired you to get on this journey, and what keeps you going?
Well, I think you just nailed it. And I think that's what basically holds us back as entrepreneurs is mindset. Some of the people that have inspired me in mindset are people like Tony Robbins and David Goggins. I listen to those guys all the time because 80% of what we do is mindset, our psychology, and only 20% is the actual skill. Our mindset controls our fears and our frustrations and can leave us stuck, but it also controls our determination and our strengths that can help us take action and move us forward. Our mindset controls our emotions, and our emotions control our results, both in business and in life. And when we understand this and we learn how to manage our emotions, it's game over. There's no stopping to what we can do. And so here's one secret. One right thing that we can do to manage our emotions, and it's by getting clear, getting focused, or refocused on what we ultimately want to achieve with our business. What do we want to do? What do we want to become? What do we want to have? If it's financially, intellectually, relationally, or health-wise, whatever it is for you, don't just think about it. Write it down. Write it down. What I've learned is that it's scientifically proven that we write something down, something happens. We become the creator of our future. We get more focused. And Anne, this is the important part. And here's your fire. Here's your fire. Right below what you want. Why? Why do you want to achieve it so bad? What will you gain or what will you avoid? Don't miss this part out, because your reason why is your power. It's your fire. It's your determination and courage to keep going on to achieving your goals. And let me say what some people might be thinking right now. Well, this is pretty basic stuff. But remember, 80% of what we do is mindset. So gaining clarity by writing down what we want and why is the key to controlling that, because having a clarity of mindset gives our mind laser focus, purpose, motivation, excitement, and ownership to why we do what we do and how we do it. So we must be willing as entrepreneurs to master the fundamentals to be successful. We have to do what it takes. And when times get tough, which they do, we can go back to that little list of what we wrote down and remember why we're doing it all in the first place. And to sum it all up, getting clear and focused helps us to manage our mindset. And managing our mindset makes us get our breakthrough to go after and achieve our goals.
Yeah, I see that, Julie. And I also see when I'm speaking to you now, like just to go back a bit, when I didn't even realize until I was 42 that I could have a vision, or that I mean, no one even asked me what my why was.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I had the opportunity to even think about what I wanted and why I would want it. I was just one step in front of the other, kind of like I wasn't unhappy. You know me pretty well. I'm pretty positive.
Yes,
but I feel
absolutely.
like setting goals has really honed my life into being the best I could be, because I actually have goals. And sometimes I think you need a coach to bring those things out in you and then keep you on track. So, that's why when your enthusiasm, but also just sharing it and holding someone accountable, is that part of what your coaching is when you're coaching a client? I mean, first of all, asking the question, I think is just so flattering.
Yeah.
Like, why and what? And that's a good start. But then how do you hold them accountable?
Well, I think that's a good question itself. And I think a lot of it is trying to make it personalized. When we can discover our why, it's now personal, whatever it might be. Your why to do something is going to be different than the next person's, right? But when it's personal, it really drives that force. If it's personal that you need that job so you can put food on the table, you just have to remember that when you go to that job and it's a tough day, that job is putting your food on your table, and you can feel quite a bit different about it, right? So I think that's a big thing. And I think as good coaching, one thing I would suggest is that we just learn to ask, just like you did, great questions, and draw these things out of people, because inside of people is amazing, beautiful things. And we just have to be able to tease them out and to help them out with that. And I think a lot of times too, coaching helps with accountability. I have a student right now who said, I just need the help with accountability, that we're meeting every 2 weeks. I just know that I have to get things done. That's normal. And I think that's what we do. I get the opportunity, the honor to support people with achieving their goals, is accountability.
I never thought about it like that, because if I have a deadline, I will usually hit the deadline, but if I don't have a deadline, I have a little wiggle room. Oh no, it'll go right up to the wiggle room, and then I will take care of it. So that is a great point. And also the way that you would hold someone accountable is this lovely way, Julie. And you have a great way about you, because it's more like a cheerleader and not like, I'm going to beat you up if you don't get this done for me. We need somebody in our corner, somebody that has our back, and also someone that understands our why and wants to help build on that. Because I rely, for instance, we're women here. I rely on my husband sometimes, or a lot of times. I love him to death, but he doesn't listen to me the way you would listen to me about my business. He's, he's reading the sports page, watching, the news, on his iPad, and he says he's listening, but he's not really listening and trying to grasp what I'm saying and maximizing it. Right. So like when I'm speaking, I want him to hear me, not for the pat on the back, but I went, how do I make this better? How do I see it in a new light? And that's where you would come in, that coaching of having a commitment to their why, and everybody has their own why, but to be so personally attached to that, I think people sometimes miss that opportunity of having somebody that really cares about their success.
Yes. And these are things, and I love what you just said, is having someone that if it's a husband or spouse, I mean, they can be great. My spouse is really great at listening, but there also has to make it personalized. And I practice what I preach. Like on my kitchen table right now, I have 3 pieces of paper: what I want, and actually what we want for me and my husband, why we want it. And then the third part is going to be the how we get there. But the first 2 parts are crucial. The how, we'll figure it out. If our why is big enough, the how is the easy part. It's the why. Yeah.
It's the why. And the why. And again, it's never too early. I when I get so excited when I'm talking to you, because I just think about my age right now, and just, the young women that are just getting started at thinking of big things for themselves and from themselves, their families, their lives. I mean, it's just no time like the present to work with someone, collaborate with somebody that wants to see you succeed and sees the potential in you, because everybody has it. Everybody has a potential. And so often I see colleagues that have wanted to do it, but never understood how to do it. And that's where you come in as well, right? The how is important, because you've got to execute your dreams, right? And so that's really interesting that you can help them all in all different phases of getting to the end result.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, when the how becomes the easy part, because if our why is not big enough, doesn't matter what system or process we have, if there's not a reason enough, that'll fail. So I think that when we can really engage and align on ourselves or a team by creating that atmosphere of personalization, it's the game changer.
Yeah. And it's a really personal growth as well, because so often we don't realize we just have to go back to the why, go back to the why, go back to the why. And if you don't have somebody telling you that, you don't even know that that's possible. You're like, oh, it didn't work out, I'm going to quit. And, we know principle number one, I think it's number 9, start and don't stop, and do's never retire. So, someone like you just keeps it, the carrot there. Here's your why. Keep going for it. Keep going. Don't give up on.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, so you're coaching, you're building, you got a boot camp coming up, but you have secrets. I know now you're sharing your secrets. So what's one of your favorite secrets to getting breakthrough business results?
Well, one of my favorite secrets to getting breakthrough results is this: fall in love with your ideal client, not your product or service. One thing that we've learned, if it's through pandemic, war, or economy, is that change is consistent. Our world keeps changing so fast right now. That's why our product and services need to adapt and change to meet the new needs and wants and desires of our clients, whether it's due to a pandemic or new trends. The problem is we're often too vague. We're too vague or too generalized with who our ideal client is. And it's hard to fall in love with someone when you don't know who they are or what they're like. And we often accept anyone as a client, especially when we first start out. And it can end with less than perfect results. The clients can be demanding, or they can, not profitable, or you might not even like them. So that's why I recommend identifying and defining who our ideal client is right from the start, right from the beginning of a startup, or before we launch a new product or service, and particularly before we start picking our logos and branding colors and launching a website. Really define who you're trying to do business with. What are they like? What do they do? Where are they? What problems do you solve? And what problems do they face? In my business boot camp called Your Playbook for Success, I've actually included an identify your customer tool. And it breaks it down into 21 categories to help identify, define, and get to know and fall in love with your ideal client. From this tool, we can close our eyes and be able to see what they're like. We feel like we know them, that we respect them, we care for them, have compassion, because we're often willing to do so much more for people that we know and love. Now, this is the filter for creating perfect strategies for your business plan, for your playbook, like I like to call it, and which includes the part we've been waiting for. The marketing strategies. Now build out your logo and your website and be able to pick your colors and your messaging. Most marketing fails because it's too generalized, or it's not speaking the language of our ideal client. And it all starts by getting crystal clear picture of who your ideal client is and falling in love with them. Because if you fall in love with your product, someone's going to beat you. There's competition out there. They're going to be anticipating. But when we fall in love with your idea client, then all you have to do is adapt and change and create an irresistible offer that they cannot refuse. And your clients will buy from you, and they're going to fall in love with you back. And your business can continue to endure and flourish.
Oh my gosh. I actually love the analogy of that, because falling in love begets commitment. And so commitment is so important to everything we do. So often people will start and they forget and they fall out of love. But if it is true love and you start there, that commitment will continue to grow, to build, to be rock solid. And it's funny, Julie, I guess I got lucky. I love the dew logo. So I think mostly I love dews because they're, we likes attract like, and good dews find good dews, right? So
yes.
I kind of got lucky there, but like a lot of times it's not necessarily what I want. It's about the client, and it can be beautiful. So but you just have to figure that out, because everybody's got, we talked about this. Every client has certain strengths that, that are lovable.
Yes.
And so whittle it down, but you need help doing that, because it's almost like, you always need help I don't know, cleaning your closet out, right? So now I'm really digressing, but okay. So you put one in Goodwill and you put one in the garbage and one for consignment or whatever, whatever. But you need a friend to help you do that, because otherwise you're like all over the place, right? And this is where, again, I see you coming in and helping them to be able to, kind of like laser focus on what is going to work for the success. Because if you don't start there, then, you've dealt with people that have thrown money and time out the window that never gave any return, because they're trying to, I guess, is it reinvent the wheel or invent their own wheel, when there really is, it's a lot of things really just make perfect sense to someone that, like you, that have done it over and over and over again for somebody, to help them extract what they need, who they need it for, and how to make it, work well, so that they're happy, the client's happy, and their business is a success. That's really brilliant. Where do you start? And you just nailed that beautifully. Things to think about here if you're listening today and you've got an idea in your head. Start with your why, your ideal client, and find a coach that's going to help you, learn and grow and be accountable, and just give you ideas that you never would have thought of on your own, because, they're, sometimes when we have this idea, that's one thing. But if you're someone like you've worked with all different categories of people in entrepreneurship. So your wealth of knowledge of what works and what doesn't work is so much greater than someone that's just starting out with a great idea.
Well, I think that it being, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur myself. I've just, we can have so many victories, but I've also made a lot of mistakes. I think that's why I'm able to come back now and say, hey, if I would have known this at the beginning, really get a hold of my ideal client, wow, business would have looked a lot different. And it's almost like a challenge right now. Think about who our ideal client is right now. If you're out there, you're listening to this podcast, who are your clients? And can you actually say that you have, this love for them? Because things are much different when we come from that perspective. Sometimes we need to adjust our ideal client, and sometimes it changes through seasons, like we talked about, adapt and change. And that, because the world is consistently changing, sometimes our ideal client, who we started with, may not be who our ideal client is right now. And I think that's a big thing to think about.
And also the other thing that you made me think of was, like, in this day and age with burnout and stress, people think they have to work with everybody.
Yeah.
And, honestly, we can make that choice if we know who we want to work with. Absolutely. And so isn't that freeing and exciting to say, hey, this is who I want to work with, and I'm going to find them, and I'm going to attract them. Like, what do I need to do to attract my ideal client? Who do I need to be that is authentic to me?
Yes.
To be able to find an ideal client that not only I love, but they love me back.
Yes. And it feels so much different. And that means at times that we're gonna maybe turn down some business. But you know what? We can realize that, hey, that just saved me. It saved me maybe someone I didn't like working with. Maybe it saved me, time. Maybe it saved me money. And it's a lot of things to be okay to say, you know what, not quite the right fit, but you're right fit for somebody else. We're not supposed to be the right fit for everybody. And when we can understand that, accept that, and really visualize who we're going after or who we can serve, there's a lot of great opportunities out there.
It makes for an exciting entrepreneurial journey. I love that. It makes me excited to just get back to work, even this afternoon after we're doing our podcast here today. So,
awesome.
Tell me a little bit about what you've got coming up and how people can get in touch with you, Julie, because I love your energy, and I know that everyone that's listening will love you too.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. I said, like, being a hard entrepreneur is a long, hard path, and it can be lonely. And I spent a lot of wasted time, Anne, trying to figure out how to do business on my own when I simply could have done it another way. Fortunately, I figured it out, and business has been so much clearer and profitable and enjoyable since. And to make it quicker, for other entrepreneurs, I put together a free, what I call a raw assessment tool. You're going to love this, Anne. Raw standing for real, authentic work. And it's an assessment tool that goes through some of the very first questions we need to ask ourselves before we start a business, before we launch a new product or service. And it includes some of the talk points we talked about today. And I sure wish I had discovered these questions before I started my business. So if anybody who's listening, if you like a copy of this assessment tool, you'll be able to click at the bottom of the notes on the podcast today, and there should be a link, but you can also just hop on my website, Julie Friesen Dental Coaching and Consulting, and click under the secret weapons tab to get a free down of the raw assessment tool. Because there's so many really wonderful people, Anne, who are really wanting to do some wonderful things in the world. They're just having a bit of trouble getting their business out. So I want to be a fellow warrior to help them out and do that.
I love that. Help them get focused on what works and what doesn't, and make them, just fall in love, not only with their clients, but with the process of being an entrepreneur. Love that, Julie. And so tell me about the boot camp though, that you've got going.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm doing another Your Playbook to Success bootcamp with a small group in the fall. And we're going to simplify the 8 key areas of a business plan so you can have a vivid direction and a real map to success. In this bootcamp, I've just compiled my real life experiences along with a lifetime of learning from experts. Now, the experts who have tested and proven solutions that get results and have a track record to back them up. And most importantly, they work. I've just compiled them, simplified it all so it saves you time. Put it into a small group so you don't just get the tools, but that I go through the process of helping you implement it into your business. And the bootcamp creates a small, intimate community, a safe place where we can ask questions and learn. And plus it provides that motivation, accountability that you mentioned, and the strength to move us forward. So if you'd like to join us, just go back onto my website and click on Your Invited page, and you can contact me there and I'll get you all the details. And if you want to get in touch with me, again, you can just go to my website. It's the easiest way. You don't have to remember any kind of emails, and hit contact on my website, Julie Friesen Dental Coaching, and you can connect with me there. I'd love to hear from you.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I'm going to download your doc and take it, and then I'll call you up and we'll share a little bit about what my assessment reads, and I think that'll help me even grow further than we are right now. So, Julie, you
Awesome.
are an absolute doll. I have loved getting to know you. I'm so thankful that you're a dew, and that you've given so much of your positive energy, your expertise to our organization. And I just can't wait to continue to watch you grow and continue to watch the people that you're coaching grow. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I've had a lot of fun being your guest, and a big thank you to the many who are listening to this podcast today. I hope we've provided you some real value for you to be able to be successful in your business too.
I know you did. And if you're listening, everybody, keep doing you. Thank you, Julie. We'll see you next time.
Anne.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. To learn more about dental entrepreneur women, to share your story, or to join the movement, please visit our website, dew.life. That is DEW.life. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app to make sure you don't miss an episode. And in the meantime, keep doing you.